you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. So I have been so excited to share this video with you for such a long time. This has been in the works now for a couple of months and it is finally delivery day. I am officially getting a new Dreambox, which is something that firstly I am so incredibly excited for and also grateful for. If you followed me for the last few years, you'll know that I have had this Dreambox now for 3 years, something like that. I've made a few videos of this. I made a video when I first got it. I recently made one with an update like, hey, this is how it's going. These are some problems I've had. Do I still like it? Just overall reorganizing and stuff like that. I also recently did a video where I painted on my Dreambox. There's my painting right there. I don't think most of you saw it. It was like a 10 of 10 video, so that was upsetting because I spent days on it, but that's fine. If you want to check it out, I'll link it in the description. No pressure. Go watch it. Anyway, when I reorganized this, I said that I'd had a couple of issues with it. This was the Dreambox 2 and they recently released the Dreambox 3. And I knew that the Dreambox 3 came with a ton of different upgrades and different cool features. And I said in my video where I reorganized this recently, I was like, if you really want to see me try out the new Dreambox, feel free to let me know. And I had so many comments saying, yes, please try out the new Dreambox. I want to see if it's any good. I want to try it out. I've had a lot of people buy these from my videos in the past. And this Dreambox is like an artist and crafter's dream because you can fully customize the drawers, the placement, the shelving. You can just fit everything exactly how you want it and keep everything organized. But when I made the last video and I was like, hey, let me know if you want to see me try out the new Dreambox, because I've been wanting a second Dreambox because I sell products myself and I feel like having another Dreambox will allow me to turn this one into my packaging Dreambox. So I put all of my packaging, my tape, my products inside it, and the new one I can use for my art supplies. Create Room is the brand that makes the Dreambox here, as you can see, and they very kindly told me that they would send me a Dreambox 3 to try. So I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to try it and be like, hey, this is the new one compared to my old one. What do you think? And today is officially delivery day. It's pissing in rain, but it's okay. We're gonna get our Dreambox today. I'm so freaking excited. Also, as a disclaimer, Create Room is not paying me for this video. They've sent me the Dreambox to try out for myself. There is an affiliate link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself and a coupon code. But this video is not sponsored by Create Room, so I'll be giving a completely honest review here. Just because it was sent to me for free doesn't mean I'm going to be like, wow, this thing is the best thing in the world. Because if you follow me for any semblance of time, you'll know I don't do that. Delivery is in like 20 minutes. I just got a phone call telling me it's 20 minutes away. So let's go check out our Dreambox, unbox it, and bring it in here. Let's go. It's just as big as I remember the first one being, and they very kindly sent me the pre-assembled version so I don't have to put it together, which is good because for obvious reasons it's not going to be very helpful if I'm trying to put together a Dreambox myself. So these do come with two options. You can get the unassembled version and you can also get the assembled version. When I received the Dreambox 2, they accidentally sent me the unassembled version, and honestly it does come in a lot of pieces, so if you are very handy or you have the time to put together a Dreambox and you want to save a lot of money, you can easily get the unassembled version. But if you can swing it, then the assembled version is going to save you a lot of time. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so here it is. Has the wheels and everything. Remember, all we have to do is screw the hinges of these side panels on, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, you customize it and everything, but the difficult part is just screwing the hinges on. So there we go. Let's take out the box, and then I will show you properly how it looks. Here we go. For the record, my mum is here keeping a watchful eye on me to make sure I don't do literally anything. I'm helping. It's not heavy. My contribution is taking the cardboard pieces off the side. So it was actually very easy. The cardboard just completely fell apart from the pallet. So if you're worried about taking it out of a box, you don't have to. It just fell off basically. And it was delivered by freight, if you're curious. They scheduled it with me today, dropped it off in the middle of the pouring rain, and it's just on this pallet here. So you just need to wheel it inside.
So well put together.
It's really well put together, yeah. I'm helping. Okay, my mum helped me big time get this thing together. There's still a few things we need to add to this, but for starters, I just wanted to point out there are so many improvements on this. Basically, everything that the old unit had a problem with has now been fixed. I'm gonna give you a little tour just to show you the improvements before I move on further and start to fill this. So when my Dreambox 2 was first put together, I never showed it on camera, but this side panel here has a little magnet that attaches to the main part here. So basically, it touches, magnetizes. When I first got my Dreambox Dreambox 2, for whatever reason, it never fully perfectly lined up.
I will say one thing that's kind of annoying is this is supposed to be magnetized, so it doesn't stay there, which you've got to kind of hold it in as you close it.
So it was always just a little bit more drop down. So really only half the magnet was actually magnetizing. And over time, it's dropped more and more and more to the point where now the door no longer magnetizes and it drives me crazy. Keep in mind, this unit has been moved about 3 times now, and it was never moved very carefully by moving men. So I think it was a combination of that time. I think the weight of this inside door here. I do not have a lot of weight on the inside door of my old unit. I really don't. I just have a few bottles of paint. But I think the biggest issue was the hinges on my old unit, and I'm going to show you the difference. So these right here are the new hinges. They are very, very heavy duty, and there is 3 of them all the way up and down. This part as well has the same hinges, and essentially this magnetizes because it's completely level. These just clearly aren't strong enough, and a few people told me they had the same issue I did. So I honestly think it's just related to the hinges, the moving. This right here too warped a little bit inwards, and people did tell me they also had this issue because this is like particle board, so it can happen. This was also in some humidity, it was in storage. These are all pulling out, and they have improved on these brackets too. By the way, before anyone worries, I am keeping my Dreambox 2. I just did a mural on it. I really, really like it. I'm just going to be using it on the opposite side of the wall. I think the issue on the other Dreambox is that panel that warped on me. It's one long piece, and because of that, it warps easier. Whereas here, they've split it up by putting a shelf like right in the middle, and then they've given us 2 of these panels right here that we are going to like install in there ourselves. So it's kind of broken up. Instead of being one long piece, it's 2 separate pieces in 2 separate sections. So that is going to make a huge difference and prevent that warping happening, which I think is one of the biggest issues of the old Dreambox. These are the new brackets that we use to put our totes in this box. These brackets are a million times better than the old ones, because if you saw on the old one, it's like an L-shaped bracket, so it easily pulls out of the side, whereas these ones are shaped like a T, which means that they're more sturdy underneath instead of just being like that L shape where they can pull out. This is going to prevent that. Even pulling on them, they just don't pull out at all. And then you just slide in your box like that, and that is basically it. So the handles are also vastly improved. These are like nice, strong, solid handles. The handles on the old unit are literally half the size, so you can have like a much firmer grip in opening and shutting. So the front is just completely bare. There's no molding, no nothing. But I keep mine open 99.9% of the time, so it really does not matter to me whatsoever. That being said, I think some people will prefer the more clean look. Other people will probably prefer the one with the molding. And lastly, the biggest difference that I have noticed in this whole unit is the table. This thing has vastly improved. So I never told anyone this, but due to user error, I pinched my fingers so badly putting the old unit together. Like the table legs, like you have to be very careful not to pinch your fingers in the hinges. Over time, I remembered how to not hurt myself with the table legs, but at first, trying to pull them out was quite difficult, and the table pulls down, you have the legs, that's what holds it up. However, this new unit, which by the way, there is a caution stick here that's like, oh, make sure you attach this to the wall before you pull it down. I have the stabilizer feet on it for right now. I'm just going to show you as an example, but this table has no legs. It's amazing. So with this, you literally just pull it straight down and it's there. And what I love about it is pretty much everything. This is so much better than the old one. You can see these hinges here are very, very strong, and they just push and hold the table up like that. The old table always seemed to be a bit too big. Like there was no way to have the entire thing completely flat unless you had the whole table out. So you either pushed it up and it had like a lip behind it, or you had it on the ground. This table is a lot smaller than the old one, and so far I don't have any complaints. Everything that I found I had an issue with on the old one has literally been improved or fixed or just taken away. And being genuinely honest here, I would give this unit so far a 10 out of 10. There's nothing that I can see that I would improve on right now, but we'll continue putting it all together. We'll put some of the tote boxes in, and then I'll fill it up, and I'll let you know at the end of the video too what I would still rate this. My old unit I would give like a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. This one so far, blatant 10 out of 10. So yeah, let's continue adding some shelves. We'll see how customizable this actually is, because there's definitely more options than the old one. So yeah, let's continue building this out and seeing how it looks. Okay, so something really cool I've just noticed is we're putting this in ourselves. So this is a much shorter piece that sort of like sits on this wooden middle shelf. Before, we never had to install this ourselves, already came like it. So it's more to do with the pre-made version than the old one, but this is also so much thicker than the other piece. Compared to this one, it is like a lot thinner, and again, this one just goes all the way down, and this is the piece that warped. So now it's gonna have two pieces that are smaller, and it's gonna prevent that warping issue entirely. So that's really, really cool. Okay, so I was wrong. Instead of just one long shelf like that of these little smaller containers, you have a smaller one here, and then it mixes it up a little bit, and then you put it on this side. I actually really like how that looks. It's very unique. And now I'll put that on that side, and the shelves can just slot in like that, and the small ones go here. Okay, this is finally all put together, all the basic parts anyway. What's really cool about this is this shelf right here is just put in with like bookcase pegs, like when you have a bookcase and you put the shelves in. I can literally customize this however I want, so I can have it higher, I can have it lower. And at the bottom too, I have another shelf. This one here is fully customizable, whereas on the old one, I had one stable shelf that I just couldn't move, so I basically was just stuck with however it was. They also gave me a ton of the clear totes, so I'm gonna be able to really customize this however I want to. This piece is way more customizable than the old one. Like, I'm really, really impressed because pretty much everything on here is customizable. Like, the other one was to an extent for like where you put the clear totes, but even down to like these shelves here, having this is going to be so beneficial for stuff like yarn. My husband also installed the crown up here for me. I'm going to show you. So this is the crown here. It's just added for like effect. I had like 3M sticky tapes. You just kind of like stuck it up there. I don't have it plugged in just yet because we need to like thread it through underneath in the holes down here so we can like use the little button. But other than that, this is so similar yet so different to the other one, and I am really loving it so far. I'm very, very, very impressed. They've also given me quite a few of these mini shelves as well. They did before, but I don't think I got any this size. This is cool because it basically goes in this spot right here. You can just like slot it in. So yeah, you have these little shelves you can use to slide in, slide out. You have these little pegs for like the bookcase shelves, and you put them in. Before, this was different because you had like 3 of these things, which I always wished I had more. I have like 5 of them now, which is good. But instead of actually slotting into the actual plastic rails, they go in with these little pegs instead, which is good because they're going to be a lot more sturdy that way. Before, they were still kind of at the mercy of the plastic rails. Okay, so something else is, this is the thickness of the shelf for the Dreambox 3 versus the thickness of the shelf for the Dreambox 2. So you can see that everything has been like almost double the thickness. Not quite, but it's almost double the thickness. And I've not had trouble with these shelves before, but these will be even more sturdy. And because they're going to be using those little pins, they're going to stay up and hold a lot more weight as well. And we all know craft supplies can be very heavy, so I'm very happy about that. Okay, so I've officially put everything into the spaces I think I'm gonna need, so let me give you a grand tour. So on this side, I did basically the same thing I did on my other Dreambox. I've just put in like these little flexible things because I'm probably just gonna put some cheap paint on this side. I love using these little metal things for the washi tape. They sent me quite a few of them, but I only really need one. So this is pretty much just gonna most likely hold my paint like the old one did. And I'm pretty much gonna do the same thing that I did with the other one as well. So I'm gonna probably put canvases here. I'm not really sure until I start putting things in, but I have this removable shelf. I also put some shelves under these ones because I plan to put my clay in these ones because obviously the clay is pretty heavy and it will just help support it a little bit better. I've left down here blank because I might put some canvases down there too. I'm not entirely sure. I still have so many of these. Like, I literally still have all of these plus a bunch of the smaller ones as well. So there's a lot of options here. In my other Dreambox, I have my marker set like around here. So I might end up taking a lot of these out and putting my big marker container there instead. But for now, I just like how this looks. I put 2 of these up here as well. I really didn't use this size all that much on my other Dreambox, but I'll be honest, I actually lost a lot of these when I moved. But I don't know, I'm gonna sort of arrange things, see how they work. I want it to be relatively the same because I just organized the old one and it works really well for me. This though is my favorite part because I mean, it just looks really cool. I have a nice shelf here that I'm thinking maybe I'll just have something decorative. I'll probably put my Cricut here as well like I did the other one, but I actually have the option of having drawers down here, which which is cool because I didn't have that option before. It's just one big like long shelf and you couldn't really do much with it. They give you these little shelves. So I have a ton of these that I was able to put in, and I thought I could put a bunch of coloring books in this way. I could put sketchbooks in here because before it's just basically just like an open gap unless you have like these tiny little shelves in there. And if you don't use them, it's just kind of a wasted space. And on my old one, I actually have a bunch of stuff just like stacked up. This is where I've just shoved in like some dirty palettes and stuff because there's nothing else I can really do with this space unless I put these little containers in, and I don't really use a lot of these. I like the setup with the canvases because I can easily just grab them. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other one, and I'm going to just start filling it now, and I'll show you how everything looks at the end. Okay, we are officially done. Please ignore the fact I am in a sleep shirt. It's just comfortable, okay? I honestly didn't think this video would take too long because I already organized my other Dreambox very recently, and I thought, oh, I'll just transfer everything from that one to this one. But because this one had so much more flexibility with customization, I found myself with a lot of blank spaces on this unit, and I wasn't expecting that because it's exactly the same size, but there are genuinely so many more customizationable areas that I just decided to kind of reorganize the whole thing to be set up to be even more efficient for me. So I am absolutely obsessed with this Dreambox. I cannot even tell you how nice it is that the door just stays open. I thought at the time the other one felt high quality, but this is on another level. I am shocked. This has no flaws that I have seen so far. Like, I cannot see any. And obviously I haven't used it for as long as I have the other one, but I will of course update you as time goes on. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments down below. But without further ado, let me give you a grand tour of my Dreambox 3. Welcome to the Dreambox 3. Dun, 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 dun. It looks like my other one. No, but for real, this is how it looks so far. So on this side of the fold-out door, we have all of my cheaper craft paint. Super easy access. I actually use these paints more than I guess people would probably presume I do. I just like the cheap craft paint. I think it works really nicely for certain projects. I had about 4 of these included in the Dreambox, and a lot of people use this for Cricut vinyl. So they have like a ton of the Cricut vinyl just down the door. I personally just like using it for washi tape. These have changed. These were clear plastic before, now they're white. I think they look a lot nicer than they do on the old one, but that's just me. I finally got in my large enough marker holder. As you can see, it holds all of my Ohuhu markers. Behind it, I have my smaller Ohuhu marker thing popping out with a handful of Copic markers. And I don't have as many Copic markers as I do Ohuhu because, I mean, these are cheaper. And directly underneath, I have a container full of random brands. And by random brands, yes, that includes Copics because I love Copics, but again, I don't have this many. A lot of these are like Prismacolor or Winsor & Newton and these Spectrum Noir ones. Then I decided, because last time I had all of my crochet stuff on this side, spoiler alert, but I decided to put it on this side instead for a few different reasons. Firstly, I started to put my yarn down on this side, but then I realized I preferred having my canvases over here because it just looks really nice and it makes more sense to have paint with the canvases. So I just decided to switch all that up. In here, I have my Woobles leftover sets from Christmas and just like random unfinished ones. Next up, I have a drawer full of yarn. Then I have my crochet box, which is just full of crochet hooks and things like that. This yarn right here, which is nice and soft. And then I have my huge balls of yarn. I think these are called skeins. In here, I have some random paint markers, which I'll probably put these somewhere else, to be honest with you. Then I have some highlighter pens. And down here, I put my paper cutter because it fits nicely. In this section, I have a bunch of my black fine liners. I have some more black fine liners. I have inks, which I know that I used to own more inks than this. I only have 3 now. I don't know what happened to them, but that's where I'm keeping them. I found a set of Pebeo watercolor ink pencils. Apparently these are all the pencils that I own, which is quite embarrassing. I honestly don't know why I don't own more than this. Okay, this is new. I was quite impressed with myself for this idea. This is my dirty paintbrush straw, which they're not dried up, but they're kind of still not fully washed, if you know what I mean. They're just kind of like, they need some TLC. So I'm just gonna like rinse out my brushes and just chuck them in here until I can, I don't know, perform some miracle on them. And then this is where things went very, very, very differently. So obviously I still need to figure out this situation with the paper. This is like not taped in. But in this one, I have just some random Tombow markers. This one has some grabby paint markers, some Artex paint markers, some Posca paint markers, and these are just Liquitex and Karen Art paint markers. And I don't know when I owned this many paint markers, to be honest with you, but I have a whole section for them now, apparently. In here, I have a bunch of my old finished projects, just like little notes from brands and companies that I've worked with in the past, and just like old projects and things that I finished that I don't really have a place for yet. This is purely for aesthetic reasons. We have my favorite paintbrushes, or my line of paintbrushes, and paintbrushes that will be coming to my line of paintbrushes. Then we have my dogs that I sculpted, still covered in wedding cake, which I don't have the heart to take off, so they're just cemented on at this point. Up here we have gouache, so this is just all my Himi gouache, and I have a few little palettes up there. In this one I have my Prismacolor pencils, and these three are all just clay. These are very heavy boxes, but these can support the box very easily. They can support up to 15 pounds apparently, which the other Dreambox with the other like L-shaped ones, it just kept falling down and it was not ideal. And this section right here is very, very different to what I've done before. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them clear or if it'll look messy as my background, but this is something that I really love. If I put the table up, only that section is hidden and it just looks very clean. And this part down here is always exposed as well, but that's just so much more simple. This first box, I have a bunch of fabric paint from the Tulip brand, my Stuart Semple Culture Hustle box, which even though I don't use it all that often, I keep it there. In this one, I have a bunch of brush accessories, a brush washer, like a portable brush cup. And then I also have a bunch of cheap paintbrushes and things like that in there. My brush roll from Mariah's brand. This one is all my brand of paintbrushes, so my Artistic Bear Co paintbrush line that I always use to paint things with, like most of the time. Then I have one for watercolors, which I don't use this too often, but I just thought they'd fit nicely in this container. And this one contains more watercolors, like watercolor palettes, empty things, masking fluid. But I think it looks nice. I'll learn it one day. Up here, we have a drawer, and this one has some just like random cheap acrylic paint in it. We have my setup of canvases here. I just really like keeping them here. I just think it looks very nice. Then I use these sections, which is nice because we never got little shelves like this before, but I've decided to put all of my books here. I do own a lot. There's two more there. I have this right here. In this drawer, I have all of my Liquitex paint, which I don't use too often because I kind of switched over to golden, but I found there's some golden shades that have some kind of questionable ingredients, so I've kind of switched a little bit back to Liquitex because I don't know. In this one, I have a bunch of like random sized golden paints that have already fallen over. Don't expect that to ever be that neat. Here I have some coloring books. Then we have my bagged Canadian paint. Yes, I know it's not Canadian, but I always make this joke. People are probably sick of it by now, but I'm always like, oh, this paint should be Canadian because it's in a bag. Then I have some gouache, like my favorite gouache. Then I have a little palette here that I've not cleaned, more gouache, and then some Arteza gouache here. So I have like 3 separate sections for gouache because there's more down here. This one is my oil paints. So I have a ton of water mixable oil paints that I have yet to use, but I do want to at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Down here we have bigger canvases, some canvases that I've started like years ago and just never actually finished. So if you want to see me finish some old projects, feel free to let me know. Got some toilet roll back there. Then we have one of these Stay Wet palettes, which is pretty cool. And then I kept my dirty paint palette. I know, again, I need to clean it. I decided to use these metal rods to hold this in, so now it can't escape, so it's just there. Here I have a stitch painting that I did recently and a bunch of wood panels that need painting on. More of my books, wood panels, and at the very top I have more woobles. These do not fit here, I know, but that's where they're at right now. This is kind of how it's going to look in the background, and it looks exactly like the other one, I know, but I am really happy with how this is laid out. I think it just makes it so much more organized, and the other one I was starting to have that issue again with things falling down quite easily, with anything that was like like a little bit weighty, and this one will definitely be a lot easier to keep tidy because every single thing has its own little spot, which was something I didn't really achieve with my other Dreambox. Except for when I first got it, I was very, very particular with every single little brand having its own section. But over time, it kind of lost its way, and I just sort of put the paints together instead of separating the brands. And like the pens, I would sort of keep things I didn't need. But yeah, this Dreambox honestly has been a literal dream. It gets a 10 out of 10 from me, honestly. I genuinely am so impressed. They've done such an incredible job with the hinges, with the desk, with the ability to customize so much more. Yes, it did require a bit more sort of like DIYing, even with the Dreambox that came assembled already. But because of that, you're sort of able to control exactly where you want everything. It came with more shelves than I remember my Dreambox 2 coming with, a very generous amount of totes. And so far, I have not really found a con with this. I could be wrong. There could be something I thought about earlier on that I can't remember now. But I'm just very, very, very impressed. Create Room, thank you so much for sending this to me. I genuinely am obsessed all over again. I'm so, so excited to be able to use this. If anyone wants to check this out for themselves, I will leave a link to this in the description down below. Again, this video is not sponsored, but they did give me a coupon code if you did want to purchase it yourself. And it's an affiliate link as well, so feel free to use it or don't use it. It's your choice. But yes, for now, thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.